Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. Today we have an engaging conversation between two friends discussing both the positive and negative aspects of planning a trip. Together they share their thoughts and experiences while preparing for a weekend getaway. Through this dialogue, you'll learn some useful English vocabulary and phrases related to weighing the pros and cons of traveling, handling challenges, and making the most of the journey. So let's dive into their conversation and discover how to express both the good and the not so good moments in English.
You're welcome. I'm glad we could share our travel experiences. It's always nice to hear how travel can enrich our lives. It really is. Speaking of enriching experiences, have you ever considered traveling solo? Yes, I have. In fact, my trip to Nepal was actually a solo journey. At first, I was a little nervous about being on my own, but it ended up being one of the most empowering things I've ever done. That's incredible! I've always wondered what it's like to travel solo. Did you ever feel lonely? Not really. There's something about traveling alone that forces you to be more present. You notice more around you, and you're more open to meeting new people. I met so many amazing fellow travelers along the way, and we shared stories, meals, and even parts of the trek. I never truly felt alone. Plus, it gave me time to reflect on my own thoughts. I can imagine how that would be. It must have been such a contrast from everyday life. Definitely. In daily life, we're often caught up in routines and responsibilities. But when you're out in nature, especially in a place as majestic as the Himalayas, it's hard not to reflect on your priorities. I came back feeling like a different person. It's amazing how a change of scenery can shift your perspective. That's so true. I think it's one of the reasons why I love traveling. It pulls you out of your comfort zone and forces you to see the world differently. Exactly. Speaking of comfort zones, do you think you'd ever try a solo trip? I've been thinking about it more and more lately. There's something about the idea of relying entirely on yourself, without anyone else around, that feels both intimidating and freeing. You should absolutely go for it. Solo travel teaches you so much about yourself. You learn to trust your instincts, make decisions on the fly, and embrace the unknown. It can be scary at times, but it's so rewarding. Plus, there's always the excitement of not knowing what you'll discover. You're really convincing me. I think I just need to find the right destination for my first solo trip. Do you have any recommendations? For a first solo trip, I'd suggest somewhere that feels safe but still offers plenty of adventure. Maybe a place like New Zealand. It's beautiful, and the locals are incredibly friendly. Plus, there's so much to do outdoors, from hiking to kayaking. It's perfect if you love nature but want to feel secure traveling alone. New Zealand sounds amazing. I've heard the landscapes are breathtaking, almost like something out of a movie. They are. The mountains, the beaches, the forests, it's all so pristine. And if you're a fan of outdoor activities, you'll never run out of things to do. There's also a really strong community of travelers there, so you can meet people easily. That sounds perfect. I've always wanted to explore more of the natural world. There's something so calming about being surrounded by nature, away from the noise of the city. Absolutely. Nature has a way of grounding us. That's part of the reason I took up meditation after my trip to Nepal. It helps me reconnect with that sense of peace, even when I'm not traveling. That's interesting. I've always wanted to try meditation, but I've never quite gotten the hang of it. It's definitely a practice that takes time to master, but once you get into the rhythm, it becomes a really powerful tool. Even just a few minutes a day can make a big difference. It's like giving your mind a break, a moment to just be still. I think I need that in my life. Maybe I'll start meditating before I take my first solo trip. It could help me stay centered during the experience. That's a great idea. It'll help you stay calm and open to whatever comes your way. And who knows, maybe the solo trip will lead to even more positive changes in your life, just like it did for me. I hope so. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. I'll definitely start planning soon. Do it! And if you ever need advice or tips, feel free to ask. I'd love to help out. Thank you, I really appreciate that. I'll take you up on that offer. Anytime. Traveling is such a gift, and it's even better when we can share it with others, whether in person or through stories. I couldn't agree more. It's conversations like these that remind me why I love to travel. There's always something to learn, something to experience, and someone to meet. Exactly. And every trip has the potential to change us in ways we can't always predict. I'm sure your next journey, solo or not, will be just as impactful as the ones we've already had. I have no doubt about that. Thank you again for sharing your stories. They've truly inspired me. You're very welcome. I'm glad we could talk about it. I can't wait to hear about your future adventures.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and learned some useful phrases to express both the positive and negative aspects of planning a trip. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below sharing your thoughts or your own travel experiences. We'd love to hear from you. See you in the next video.